In August of 2014, a YouTube video appeared in my recommended feed that would not go away. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, I don't like to feed into YouTube's algorithm, so I kept ignoring the video. But for some reason, the thumbnail just stuck out to me. I couldn't even tell what I was looking at. So reluctantly, after being recommended the video probably over 100 times, I finally clicked on it. I was intrigued to say the least. Five Nights at Freddy's was strange, but very interesting to me because I didn't grow up going to Showbiz Pizza, so this concept was totally foreign to me. I'd never really even considered animatronics, and ironically, my only experience with them in the past was, when I was very young, in Kansas City, there was a Cabela's, it's actually still there, and they had an animatronic rhinoceros and lion head. And I remember whenever I was a kid, I was so afraid of those animatronics that we couldn't even get near that side of the store, because I was just so deathly afraid of them. So that was really my only experience with animatronics in the past. Now, I've always been a very research-oriented person, and anytime I become interested or intrigued by something, I will research everything about it. I will learn it inside and out. And that was the case with Godzilla, with even things like earthquakes. I would go to the library and check out every single book on earthquakes and learn everything I could about them. And that's just always the way I've been, so this was no different. When I researched what inspired the game, I found out about the Rock-afire explosion. I don't remember the first video I watched, but this was definitely one of the first, and from there I was hooked.
There are two acceptable reactions to an animatronic band: a warm wave of nostalgia for the magic of childhood, or bone-chilling abject terror.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. We're here with a monkey, the people say we'll monkey around. But we're too busy singing to put anybody down.
Everything about the show was amazing to me, and as mentioned previously, just the concept was intriguing. The idea that you could take a character, creature, or human and make a robot or mechanical frame that once fitted with a costume and a mask could essentially mimic that thing, that was fascinating. But the Rock-afire explosion was special in many ways that set it apart from other animatronics. The music was definitely one of the most influential elements of the show. I had never heard the Beatles before, or the Monkees, and the voices were not comical or corny. This was a well-polished, professional production, and I would argue that some songs that the Rock-afire produced were better than the originals. Another thing that stood out to me was the fluidity of the characters. Despite the limited number of movements, with Fats, for example, only having 16, somehow the choreographers of the show were able to make the characters look especially lifelike. When I look at other animatronics, and even some of the earlier creative engineering shows, I definitely see restrictions in regard to the articulation. All the movements are positioned very close to the body of the character, and with the Rock-afire, I noticed a change. Characters developed wide ranges of motion. Arm raises, arm twists could be combined with other movements like the strumming motion of Beach Bear and Billy Bob, and really make it look like the characters were rocking out. There's also free animation, as Tim Inglis calls it. The springs in Duke and Beach Bear's bass, the flexible hands of Fats, Beach Bear, Billy Bob, all of these things factor into what makes the Rock-afire look so great. Very quickly, I became invested in the Rock-afire community, doing as much research as I could, trying to find out about the show. I started my YouTube channel around this time and found out how rare the characters were and how difficult it would be to get my hands on one. But around Christmas of 2014, the opportunity arose to get a miniature prototype Billy Bob doll. This would be my first experience working with an animatronic.